The Drake Caterpillar. This was one of the first large ships I ever flew. This long stretched out behemoth was among the earliest standing out cargo transports in Star Citizen, back before the Hercules series large ships or sub-capital class ships, or any of the other massive haulers became common. It served as a major stepping stone, a sharp jump from ships like Constellation straight into something that felt truly large. It's one of those classic ships, beautiful, ugly and nostalgic. Drake Industries away. Back in those early days, few players had the means to reach the ship through in-game funds alone. Getting it took serious time and commitment. The Caterpillar itself isn't that special in terms of raw stats. It's a large cargo transport ship with some light defensive armament. And with the introduction of Hercules series, its role became less dominant. Its most distinctive feature is the stretched out segmented body, made up of individual cargo modules, each with its own access doors. It looks impressive, but the segmented base cannot hold large containers, meaning you're limited to medium and small, but not the largest which other same-sized or bigger ships actually can hold. Also, there is no full-size ramp to drive large vehicles on board. Something like the hoverbike might be the only real thing you can get in there. In terms of firepower, it's no match for most combat-oriented ships, while it does have some defensive capabilities and nearly matches the Hercules series in durability, at least some variants. It falls behind when it comes to speed, handling and flexibility. To be fair, Caterpillar handles like an overloaded 18-wheeler with a flat tire. It's sluggish and any situation requiring agility is not in its favor. That said, the Caterpillar still has a charm and a role that no other ship quite fills. Drake ships always come with the most unique visual identifiers. Rugged, rough, industrial and unpoetically raw. The ability to open all side doors and quickly access cargo gives it real loading and unloading advantages. There are also rumored changes in the pipeline for Caterpillar, but who knows when they'll arrive. One of its overlooked strengths is, I guess we could call it endurance. The Caterpillar's capability to operate for long periods without needing a refuel. That might be its most underrated asset. You can keep working, hauling and traveling without being forced to pit stop. Yeah, sure, there are other big ships which can go for long periods as well. But compared to Hercules, this one can go longer. And I think it's roughly 25-20% longer, which is quite significant. There are also niche concepts of using Caterpillar as a pocket carrier, storing and launching Mirai Furies or other small snob fighters which might fit in there. Open those side doors and you could release a small squadron at once. I'm not saying you should do this, but it's pretty fun and potentially viable strategy. It has also got a shorter recall time than the Hercules series, which means if you're using it more aggressively or even as a battering ram, it's quicker to recover and be redeployed. Not that I recommend kamikaze runs, but hey, sometimes it's fun to make sure you're not the only one going down. Now when comparing it to newer ships, the Caterpillar might not look like the best pick, and honestly, in some ways it isn't. But it's a lot more affordable. You can start your cargo career earlier and cheaper than waiting to get your own Hercules. Because Hercules costs roughly 18.9 mil, and the Caterpillar you can just get it for 12.5. So it requires significantly less investment while only carrying 576 units of cargo instead of the Hercules' 696. So make your decision wisely, as you will only get like 120-130 extra cargo, but you will be paying in like extra 6 mil. So in a way, it is an optimal solution if you're buying it with in-game credit. From my own personal side, the Drake Caterpillar has more visual personality than many of the other generic ships. Yes, all of the Star Citizen ships are well designed and distinct in their own way. But when you see a Drake ship, you know it is a Drake ship. No one else skips the panels and embraces the exposed steel aesthetic quite like they do. You may not fall in love with Caterpillar at first glance, but it will serve you well as a dependable workhorse. There aren't many ships in its exact class, which is why I think it deserves to be made more competitive to stand out next to the Hercules series. Maybe not by adding more weapons or comforts, but by boosting its speed or armor to make it faster, tougher transport, and then it might really stand out. If CIG would improve its cargo compatibility or expand any of its system, the ship could carve a strong identity and re-emerge as a go-to large hauler. could benefit from full overhaul or at least some type of modernization. In many ways it's a beautiful forgotten ship, not seen often these days but definitely not without value. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe and thanks for watching.